welcome to the Blue Room.
Appreciate you having me. Thank you for having me. It's an honor. It's a pleasure, especially to be sitting with one of my guys.
Yes, sir. So this is our Blue Devil podcast that gives you guys an inside look into Central Connecticut basketball. And we also delve into off-court topics as we interact with guests from all walks of life. Today's guest is a Jersey City native, a graduate of the great St. Anthony's High School in Jersey City, coached by Hall of Famer Bob Hurley. This young man here scored 1,265 points in his career at Central Connecticut. He's the #2 all-time leading rebounder in school history with 980 rebounds. And I didn't know this until today. You're #1 in free throws made at 427 free throws in your career. That's a big number there. Oh, let's welcome to the Blue Room, Obie Nwadike.
Thank you
What's
very
up, Ob?
much, man. I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. It is a pleasure.
Hey, good to have you, man. Good to have you. Long time no see. I was trying to think today, the last time I saw you.
I came up for a game last year. You guys won. I'm trying to remember who you played. It
That's
might
right.
have
I
been
remember
me.
now.
But I
'Cause-
popped into the gym and
Yep.
unbeknownst to you, I just kind of was in town for a
Yeah.
few a day or two, so I just popped in and you guys played well. You guys competed. The guys played hard. I mean, it's a very scrappy game, but you guys pulled it out at the end. And I spoke. You gave me some, and I really appreciate the opportunity. You gave me a few minutes to talk to the guys after the win, and it was really good atmosphere.
Oh, it was big time. Oh, I remember now because I said, "Oh, we got to get you back for more games. You bringing us
Yeah,
good luck."
absolutely.
Yeah, that was good, man. That was good. And then I know Lenny, you and Lenny Jefferson talk a lot, and Lenny actually said he saw you down in Orlando last year going on recruiting. So stayed at your house, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, yeah, when I played with Lenny, and he was a year ahead of me, so it was really good to see him. And we had a lot of battles together. Lenny was a great player, good shot maker, playmaker, he's really good. But
Right.
great friend, and we stayed in touch over the years. And I'm glad to see that my alma mater has guys that are alma maters of the school that are representing the program and helping lead the program in the right direction.
No, it's great, man. It's great. Well, oh, you know what? Let's jump right into it, man, and then we'll kind of get your thoughts on some of the questions we have here, and then see what you think. So, my first question, and let's just start. You played for one of the greatest high school coaches of all time, and Coach Bob Hurley. Tell us about that. What was that like? What was Coach Hurley like? And I'm sure you still talk to him a lot and have a
Yeah,
good
absolutely.
relationship with him.
Yeah, it was heavy discipline, as you could imagine, but he taught you basketball. I mean, I think one of the best compliments Coach Dickerman ever gave me, this is after playing for Coach Hurley, was when I came to Central, I was able to practice and perform at a level that he knew that I was coached well. Like not only did Coach teach you the X's and O's, but he taught you footwork. He taught you positioning. He taught you how to not only work hard but compete hard every day. And I think that transitioning with playing like a national schedule on the high school level was huge because you're competing against guys from all over the country. You're competing against the best players in the states of New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Philadelphia regularly. So it was tremendous. And me and Coach have a great relationship. I still try to help out and go to his camps every year. He still holds camps at the Poconos down in South
Yep.
Jersey.
Yep.
So it was not. I'll completely honest. When you're there, it's rough. You're
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
young kid. You're
Yep.
trying to learn, and coach gets after you. But once you leave and you move on to the next step in your career. For me, it's playing college basketball. And then you move on and you grow and become a young man and then a man. You learn that those practices and those coaching tips really stick with you throughout your life.
Right. Right. I will tell you this. Oh, so obviously when I was here, Coach Casey recruited you. He was a primary recruiter with you.
Yeah.
And Coach Casey introduced me to Coach Hurley, like, one of my first years here as an assistant. And I mean, to this day, I just saw Danny. I just saw his son Danny at a Connecticut tip-off breakfast the other day. The first thing I asked him was, "How's your dad doing?" Like, I am so tight with Coach Hurley just from Coach K, the introduction. And then I got to the level, like, everywhere I've gone as an assistant coach, I would have had to go to St. Anthony's gym.
Yeah.
And it's like a clinic. I would
Absolutely.
bring my paper and pad and take notes at the drills, some of the things you guys are doing on offense, defense. It was unbelievable. I even go back to my time at Creighton. I go to Creighton in the Midwest,
Yeah.
and Coach McDermott, they wanted the guy from the East Coast. So Coach McDermott, I get out there, take the job or whatever. We're out playing Seton Hall. And I said, Coach, we got to go see Coach Hurley. I got to go see St. Anthony's a game more practice. And I said, practice would be better. And just our luck, it worked out. So we go see a practice, and McDermott is like blown away by like the thing, like he's tough. He was tough on you
Absolutely.
guys, 100%. But like it's a clinic
Yes.
every day. And so I really appreciate watching you guys at St. Anthony's, also watching and learning from Coach Hurley.
Yeah.
And I ended up at Hofstra. We got Jimmy Hall, who was a St. Anthony's guy.
Absolutely.
Played
Yeah.
at
Good
Kyle
player.
Madison. Yeah, really good player for us. And same deal, like Coach D said, once you come to college, you guys are so prepared because you've been through everything. So yeah, I really respect what Coach Hurley does. And to this day, I'm friends with him now. I talk to him all the time. We played UConn my first year here, and Coach was at the game. I got a chance to speak to him before the game, and I know he does his camps in the Poconos. So one of the best. So that's a great start to your career playing for Bob
No,
Hurley.
no, I was very fortunate, to be from Jersey City and then have the opportunity to go play at St. Anthony's and not only play at St. Anthony's, but play at St. Anthony's at its height, like we were still
Right,
competing for national championships.
right,
We were sending my entire team, I think maybe out of 15 of us, 11 or 12 of us, earned Division I scholarships.
right,
So that
right,
tells you the level of teaching and coaching that happened there, because I believe every guy didn't come in as a Division I basketball player, but he created and developed guys into Division I
right,
basketball players.
right, man. The best. That's the best, man. A so now you're getting recruited. So tell me about your recruitment and then your decision to come to Central Connecticut.
It was interesting. So I was being recruited heavily by Central, obviously. Quinnipiac was in there, St. Francis, PA. Hofstra was in it in the end, and also Stony Brook. So those are like my five. And to be honest with you, Coach Casey did a tremendous job. He
Yes.
popped into the gym a lot. He had a
Yep.
really good relationship with Coach Hurley.
Yep.
And I think Coach Hurley kind of, I won't say he nudged me in that direction, but he did mention that, Casey's a good guy. I believe he'll take care of you. You'll learn there. You'll compete there. And he
Yep.
was familiar with Coach Dickerman. So those were the two things that like really stood out. When I came on campus, I'll be honest with you, I didn't know, much about the team at the time. This is pre-internet or early days of the internet. So you
Yeah.
couldn't
Yeah.
just go, watch a game on,
Yeah.
TV or just watch it on the computer. So I got to campus and, Ron Robinson was there and Damian Battle was there and, Corsley had just left. And I mean,
Yeah.
it was I couldn't believe the talent.
Right. Right.
I remember coming back and telling Coach Hurley, I want to go there. I had a great trip. It was a great experience. Coach D treated me well. The players were great. But I came back and told my teammates, I don't know if I would start, which,
Right.
was a
Right.
little bit of a
Yeah.
tough thing to say coming from St. Anthony.
Yeah.
Everyone
Yeah.
believed that
Yeah.
they would go on to the next level and they'd play right away. But
Yep.
the amount of talent that was at Central at that time, and then, to come to find out the amount of talent that was being recruited alongside myself, guys like,
Right.
Art Anderson, Javier Mojica was in it. Jamino Sobers was a part of that class.
Yep.
Tristan Blackwood was coming behind us. So it was tons of talent. And I really enjoyed, my visit because you guys were honest and I got to watch the practice and, well, it's individuals. And so it's still early in the season. So,
Yeah.
four-man individuals. And
Yep.
I remember thinking, these guys get after it.
Right. Right.
Yourself, Casey, Tina was there at the time. I mean, it was individuals, but it was high levels, competitive, and
Yep.
although at the time it was 40 minutes, but those guys worked. I remember
Right.
thinking these guys are working. Like,
Right.
just from
Right.
the
Right.
watch, I
Right.
was like, these guys are going full throttle.
Yep.
So, and then, then comes along the campus life, right? So, I got to see where the guys stayed. I got to see the guys go to the cafeteria. Guys hung out together. The team seemed to have like a pretty good chemistry and a good bond. And it felt like something I could be a part of. It. You guys had just won the NEC that year, and year
Yep.
prior, Corsley had just been drafted, and Ron Robinson was coming on to like a first team. You guys had maybe 2 or 3 guys on the preseason first team all conference.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
remember thinking, this is where I've got to be, especially, being recruited in the NEC. There were teams like PA and Quinnipiac that, recruited me very heavy, actually, and actually had me on
Yep.
campus early on before I went to Central. And
Yep.
Coach Casey me and Coach Casey would have a conversation. He would just say, go enjoy your visits, but you've got to come see us. You've got
Right.
but I felt like the moment I left campus, and I left campus with you.
Yep. Yeah, I was going to talk about that.
But the moment I left campus, I knew this is where I wanted. It was close enough to home that I was away, but
Yep.
far enough where I felt like I had some individuality and I could grow up a little bit, and it was great.
Right. So to what you said, you left with me. So one of my last jobs here was because I was getting ready to take a job at UMass, and one of
Yes.
the last jobs I had here was taking you back after your official visit, going back to Jersey City, taking you home.
Yes.
And I remember, I'll never forget this. I'm driving you back. Most of the time, 18-year-old kid, you're driving a kid a couple hours, you're going to talk for like 5-10 minutes, and they're going to go to sleep. I think we talked the whole trip home.
Absolutely.
And we're talking like basketball. You're telling me stuff like it's a clinic. You're talking like you're a coach. And I remember driving back after I dropped you off. I'm driving back to myself. I said, did I make the right decision? This guy is good. We're going to be really good with this guy. And I thought long and hard about it. I was like, man, he's going to be really good just because the conversation with you in the car. I knew you were going to be a real good player here. You would fit in with us. And then obviously you committed to whatever, and it goes from there. So tell us, freshman year now, you're here, you're 18 years old, you're Central Connecticut freshman year. I was going through the stats today and all that. So 7.5 points a game and 6.6 rebounds a game. Really good numbers for a freshman. And like you said, you came in, Javi Mojica, DeMario, Jamino. That's a big-time class.
Absolutely.
Talk about the freshman year.
To be honest with you, I really enjoyed that class, and we had Ron Robinson was a big part of my development. So give Ron some credit, player of the year that year. So in the conference that year, and I came in with the intentions of I want to play and I want to play. I didn't want to wait my turn. I really wanted to play as a freshman.
Absolutely.
And Coach D made it very clear from the first practice. Outside of Ron Robinson, 4 other slots are open for starters. And, there was going to be no favoritism. You didn't care if you had, some seniority or if you've been there in the past, you're going to put the best guys on the floor. And I was fortunate because what I found out early about college coaches, and I didn't know this, I guess, coming from high school, college coaches love when they can show you a drill and they don't have to repeat themselves and the drill can just get moving and going.
Right.
And I was very familiar, even if not with the drills that were shown to me, but I had enough knowledge from St. Anthony's to see a drill and see how it operated, and I can just go right in. And I think what helped me early on was any drill that they threw at us, some of the freshmen would have tough times with the drills. And Coach Casey and Coach D were, tough on guys if they ruined the drill or if they had to re-explain the drill because you only had a certain amount of time of practice and coach wanted to use every single minute. So I was very fortunate that I never really ruined any drills. I kind of knew what to do. I understood lingo. I understood basketball talk. I knew, for example, some guys know how to play, but I knew where the elbow was, where the short corner was, where the wing was, how to dive, and I knew what a head screen inside. So I understood basketball lingo because I came from St. Anthony. So freshman year was really, it was a great opportunity for me because of practice. I think that's what probably led me to becoming a starter, which is really, and so from there, it was had ups and downs, but good years. And I made all rookie team, which is every freshman's goal. So and we ended up actually, which was tough because I would have liked to have done it for Ron Robinson, but we ended up playing in the NEC championship as my freshman year, which was like a tremendous thing. As a freshman, I didn't realize how tough it would be to get back. I figured we'd be
Yeah,
back
yeah.
every single year.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I really had enjoyed my freshman year, and I was able to get some accolades, especially being named All Rookie team with guys like DeMario and Javier and Jamino. Those
Yep.
are like some guys that really stood out in the conference.
Right.
So it was a very trying year as well because you're still learning Coach D, you're still learning college basketball and the schedule
Yep.
and putting classes together and trying
Yep.
to enjoy
Yep.
college life while still being the best player you can be and performing well.
Right. Yeah. And so that year, 14-14, and I think 9-9 in the NEC.
Yeah.
So like, and you go to the championship game. So I mean, obviously, as a freshman, that's a really good year. You all rookie, so you had to be feeling good about yourself. So the next year, so now I'm going. So like I said, I'm doing all my research
Yep.
today. I'm going through it, and I'm looking at it. And you go 14-14. Ronnie Robb graduates.
Yeah.
So now you guys are going to your sophomore year. Got a group of guys sophomores, and I think Rich Pittman is in that mix.
Yes, he's a senior.
He's a senior, and you guys are 12-16.
Yes.
So tell me why? Why 12-16?
Well, you realize that one, Ron Robinson covered up a lot of mistakes.
Right.
And two, in the league, there's going to be growing pains.
Yep.
So to be honest with you, we probably thought we were a little bit better than we were because, we went to the championship game and we thought, well, we're losing Ron, but we're all going to become better players. But we needed time to gel as a group because the reality of our situation was Ron got us out of a lot of jams.
Yeah.
Whether it was a big rebound, a big basket here, a stop here, just maybe having a big game where he had maybe 25, 27 points that covered up a lot of mistakes that guys might have made.
Right.
Sophomore year comes now, guys like myself who, you started the entire freshman year, you're expected to have a big sophomore campaign. And I
Yep.
think we got out of the gates a little bit slow. And it was tough because, a lot of guys now are sophomores and they want to start, freshmen want to play, sophomores want to start and be stars now before it's their time. So I think we struggled with guys being maybe overconfident, maybe being too much, not humble enough in their ability to, make the extra pass. And we struggled. We had a tough time. I think, we had some good games, some bad games, but I think looking back at that year, I think we were too young and we needed to learn how to win, especially after you lose a player of the year. I mean, we didn't think it was a huge loss as a team, but until we got into the season and you find out a guy that gets you, 19-11 or 20-10, that's a big loss.
That's a big loss. Yeah. I had Ron on here a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about that year or whatever and what happened his senior year. And then the following year, the 12 and 16 year. So, no, I totally get it. I tell you, and that year you averaged 11-7. So you're getting better. You're doing well. So now, just to let everybody know, we go to your last 2 years, and you average a double your last 2 seasons. That's big time. I don't know. You can go look around the country. There's not a lot of guys that average a double for 2 seasons. That's a big time thing right there, big time accomplishment. But your junior year, you guys make the jump, 18-11. You played really big. Looked like Justin Chiara had a
really huge year.
Tristan Blackwood had a big year. Javi, Lenny was good.
Yes.
So what was the difference that year?
Well, I think we finally grew, and I think to give, I guess not to pour a little bit of salt on Coach, but now he believed in us a little bit more. So, I think you remember the terminology. Our sophomore year, Coach D had the term quick hook. So he wasn't going to let you, his goal was you're not going to make too many mistakes. After 1 mistake or 2 mistakes, it's a quick hook. You've got to come out. So now junior year, guys were allowed to play through some mistakes. And I felt like that built confidence. But I also thought what we went through as sophomores really helped us a lot because, sophomore year, you got to take punches. We were in some close games that year that we just, weren't good enough to win at the time. And junior year, and I'll be honest with you, I thought my junior year team was the best team that I played on. I thought that team was actually better than the tournament team. If you would have asked me, I would have thought myself, Justin Chiara, Tristan Blackwood, Javier Mojica, I would have thought that group with Jamino Sobers, I would have thought that group would have won the NEC championship. I mean, we finished second in the conference that year. And
Yep.
the only reason we didn't finish first is we lost to St. Francis. You can tell I still remember these things, right? We lost to St. Francis, PA, on a buzzer beater, and they were like 9th or 10th, and we were like at the time
Oh,
the first. And that one loss mixed with a splitting a 1-1 with I believe it was Monmouth that year brought
yep.
us down to 2. So it cost us a postseason berth. If we would have finished 1, we would have went to the NIT. Obviously, if you win, you go to the NCAA tournament.
Right,
But
right,
but
right. Yep.
that year, I thought Justin Tierra made some big steps.
Yep.
He actually became a little bit more of a leader. He was making shots. He was
Yep.
confident. And I think
Yep.
once coach saw that we could play through some mistakes and play well defensively and communicate with each other and trust each other and
Yep.
trust guys to make the better pass, he believed in us, which caused us to believe in ourselves, and I think we gelled. I think, and that,
Right.
like,
Yep.
and I'll say that to this day. I believe that team actually was a team that should have won. That's the one team that I thought we should have won that year.
Wow. Wow. I didn't. You know what? I didn't know that. So and Lenny was on that team.
Yes, yeah. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
Lenny started on that team. Lenny was a great shot maker, and believe it or not, he must have shot. I want to say he shot maybe plus 40 from 3. Him and
He did.
Justin
Yeah. He shot
were the
41
wings.
from 3. Yep.
And Lenny, Justin, and I'll tell you how good of a team we had. Javier Mojica came off the bench on that team.
Right. 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 Yeah.
That's how good that team was. Like Justin and Lenny kept Javier on the bench, and
Yep.
I really believe we were really good that year.
Right. 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 So let me just go a little sidebar here. So that you guys lose at the buzzer beater, the PA, was that home or away?
Oh, it was there. It was a tough place to play. It was,
Yeah.
you know
Tough
how it
place
is
to
to
play.
play there. Yeah.
Tough place to play. So now here's my next question. There must have been some bricks involved after that
No.
loss.
Can I speak frankly?
Yeah, please, please. Our
We
fans
got
love it.
we got back that night.
Oh,
2 bricks that night before we went back to the dorm. Coach was furious. You know when coach gets it. We got back. You know the ride. We played at like I believe it was like a 2:00 or maybe a noon tip from PA. So we left
yep.
PA. We drove back, and coach said, "Get your practice gear on. Everybody upstairs in 30 minutes."
So
So
yeah,
coach had coach. We go. You're supposed to line up on the baseline.
yeah.
We always line up at the baseline, but the sideline has all bricks with everyone's names on it. And we did, I think we had to do 6 trips around before we could call it a night. And you know
Oh
how
man.
bricks are now. Picture after like a 6-hour drive.
Oh, classic, man. Classic. I knew there was some bricks involved that night.
Absolutely. You don't lose that game. Now, we were number 1 in the conference. They were 9th in the conference. I can
Right,
never
right,
forget it
right, right, right,
at
right.
that point in the season.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So all right. So now, and I mean that's a good nugget. I didn't know he really haven't talked about that team should have been an
Oh,
NCAA tournament. I'm
absolutely.
glad you told us that. Hey, so your senior year now. So now we go your senior year, 22-12, NEC championship, NCAA tournament. I mean, I think you, Tristan, and Javi were the first players in the history of the league to be first team all NEC from the same team.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
that's
So
insane.
yeah, tell us
Absolutely.
about that whole season.
Well, losing Lenny and um, losing Lenny and Justin Cherry was a big loss for us. But
Yeah.
I would say it might have been addition by subtraction because it opened up a lot of minutes and a lot of shots for both Tristan and Javi. So I
Right.
think for myself, it was I expected, I'll be honest, my goal for that year was do what Ron Robinson did. I wanted to be player of the year. I wanted to go to the NCAA tournament. That was my goal. I averaged a double-double. I was preseason first team all conference. So I had my personal goal, but the team goal, I just wanted the field experience of going to the NCAA tournament.
Right.
Um,
Right.
we stumbled out the gates that year. Like we went out to Michigan and we actually went 0-3 on the road trip. And
Oh wow.
I think we started the game, started the season 0-3, which was like, we were dug a hole for ourselves early.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then you have to take into consideration how that feels when, Coach D's 0-3.
Right, right,
So,
right. Yeah. Yep.
so let's just say we didn't, and we had a lot of expectations. So it started out difficult, but myself, Tristan, Javier, and Jamino Silva, I give Jamino Silva a lot of credit for what that team turned into because I think he, although didn't have the captain role and not very vocal early on, he definitely stepped up and he covered a lot of our flaws defensively, and he really did a great job being the anchor inside and leading us, as a unit. I thought
Yep.
myself, Javier, and Tristan really gelled in what we could do best in our roles. So,
Yep.
I scored in the interior. I drew fouls. I got to the line. We played great team defense. And Javier and Tristan honestly played lights out that year. I mean,
Mm.
I felt that any one of us, obviously all three being first team all conference, could have gotten player of the year. Like you could have just picked the name out of a
Right,
hat.
right. Coach
And
D says that too. Coach D says that a lot. Yep.
yeah, I believe, I honestly believe that. Like, was I a little bit sour when Hav got it? A little, but
Yeah, yep, yep.
looking back, he deserved it. But if Tristan would have gotten it, or if the award would have went to myself, I really think that any of us could have really represented the conference as the player of the year. But
Right.
going back to the team, I mean, that was probably the closest team that I've been a part of. And I'm
Mm.
talking about throughout my life. We ate together. We all lived together. We did it.
Yep.
We went out together. Practices were fun and they were competitive. And guys like jawed at each other, but really enjoyed each other's
Right.
company. And we
Yeah.
weren't deep, so we had to play big minutes. We weren't deep at
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
So like
Yep.
most of us
Yep.
were lugging probably 34, 35, 36
Yeah,
minutes of
yeah.
time. So
Yep. Yep.
which shows
That's a
to
lot.
our and
Going
and
through a
it's
Coach D practice too every
absolutely, and it's even it, and it even tells you more about how good we must have been defensively because if you're playing 35 minutes, you can't be in foul trouble. There's almost
Right.
you can't commit any silly, and you know how it is. Two in the
Yeah.
first half and you're down.
You're sitting down.
So
Yeah.
so we did a really good job of staying together, but more importantly, like staying out of foul trouble and trusting each other to be there defensively and trusting the help. And offensively, I think we just found our rhythm because we went motion and we kind of like ran like a dribble handoff and split screens and like
Mhm.
almost like an open post motion. And we really found where it really meshed with everyone's skill set. It allowed
Right.
how and Tristan to like penetrate, make shots. Allowed me to slip inside and get easy
Yep.
baskets. Allowed Mino to get dump offs. I could play in the high post, and so it really worked. And give credit to Coach D because that wasn't the offense we played the year prior, but he put in an
Right.
offense that
Yep.
really accentuated everyone's talents, and that
Right.
really helped. And that group, it would have been a travesty, in my opinion, if we didn't win it. And it was very difficult for us because Coach Latina was with us prior, and now he was
That's
at.
right.
So
Sacred Heart.
yes, and essentially he had the scouting report on all of us. I mean, he'd been with us
Yeah.
for like he had scouting, and not only that, but you have to understand too, we had beat them 2 times prior that year, and it's
Right.
very difficult to beat a team 3 times.
Very difficult.
Very
Very.
difficult. And
Yes.
I want to say it was even tough because we got a little cocky. We beat them at our place by like 16 or
Mm-hmm.
double figures. I know we beat them at their place by even more. It's kind of
Yeah.
like a blow up. So for us, we went into that championship game thinking it's done by half. We'll get these
Right.
guys out of here and start the celebration. And I believe it like six, maybe 5 minutes left. We were down 10 points in the championship game. So
Right.
we had
Right.
to like
Right.
get stops, make baskets,
Yep.
stick together,
Yep.
fight an uphill battle, and we did it, and it was great. And to be a part of that experience in Dietrich Gymnasium, I said and I've played on teams that won state championships at St. Anthony's, and we were
Yeah.
number 2 in the
Yep.
country, and we competed at the highest level. And that moment was like my particular happiest basketball moment of my life. It's like there's never been
Right.
a better feeling. Like I
Right.
couldn't
Right.
imagine that.
Yeah.
It was
I
incredible.
I was a part of it here with Cordsley and
Yeah,
Ron
Ron and those guys.
2002,
Yeah.
and like just being on campus
Yes.
at your school,
Yes.
you win the championship in your gym, and you cut down the nets here. It's just a special feeling.
It's surreal. The amount of fans that are there, the amount of buzz, the television people are there, the press is there. I mean,
Yep.
it was everything you dreamed of. And the moment, I'll say this, when the fans stormed the court,
Yep.
I remember it might have been Bruce Beal, and I was like, I don't think I can breathe. Like I was
It
overcome
was
with
so
joy. It was like it was a surreal moment, and
right.
you want to be a part of that. For, what I mean? You want to experience that, but like, and it's you're going into March. It's March Madness, basketball all over the world, all over the
Yep.
country. Oh my God,
Yep.
that for me was like actually the peak highlight of my basketball career. That
Yeah.
literally was the peak highlight of my career.
I always ask these guys this too. The night after the game, oh, that exact night after the game's over and you guys do the media and everything,
Yeah.
you go back to the dorm or you guys go out. It must have been just a wild night for
Oh,
you.
well, as an athlete, especially as a player in Central, you're already known. But now, as like a
Yep.
champ, like
Yeah.
like you can't go out without high fiving everyone. And, you're
Right.
comped everywhere. Everyone wants to see you. Everyone wants to take a picture. And now,
Yep.
we got in late, but it's the age of like the camera phone. So now
Right.
everyone's got their phone out, and like you're kind of
Yeah.
almost like it was insane. I couldn't believe it. And just we were on campus, but I mean, if off campus was insane. It was
Yeah.
it was a great experience.
I can imagine, man. I can imagine. That sounds like so much fun, man. I just and I go back to the first time we went when I was here as an assistant,
Yeah,
and we it was in a neutral site.
yeah,
We drive back, and I remember getting back 2 in the morning, whatever it is, and Coach D was like, "All right," he called all the guys up. You guys go off first, take the trophy. Mickens, get the trophy, and these guys walk off the bus, and the students are going nuts.
swarm. Yeah.
I'm like, these guys must have a tremendous night ahead of
Oh,
them. So I can
it,
imagine.
it was absolutely insane, and we were fortunate enough at that point where the home team, or the team with the best record, host at their
Yeah,
place the
yeah, yeah,
NEC conference championship games, and so to be at home and just to watch the gym. We had to walk through earlier in the day and it was just shoot around, and it was like the
right.
gym's quiet. But
Yep,
then you
yep.
show up to the gym just for like pregame warm ups. You're like, whoa, it is
It's
flooded
nuts.
here. It's
Yeah,
insane. It was
yeah, yeah,
tremendous.
yeah. I can imagine, man. I can imagine. So now you go on to NCAA tournament. So,
Yeah.
again, I was talked to, Ron and Corsley and Rick, these guys are all in championships. And tell us about like the whole build up for the NCAA tournament, because our league, the NEC, the championship games like on a Tuesday, Wednesday night,
Yeah.
and then selection show is on Sunday at
Sundays.
the end of the week. So you
Yeah.
got a couple of days on campus, or you're just walking around classes,
Yeah.
whatever, to get prepared. So talk about that whole little section.
It was good. It was great. Like, the day after, Coach Coach promised made us all promise that we'd make it to class. So,
Right. Yep. Yep.
but it was actually great to go to class because I walked into I had a class that I believe it might have been I forget far side of campus. I forget. That was my first class. It was the worst because it was like a 9 a.m. class. I had to be up like and I had to get there because I knew coach was gonna check. He was gonna
Yeah.
have one of the
Yeah.
assistants check. But you get to class and like the entire class, you come in the entire class and gives you like a standing ovation. It was great. So
Oh,
you're
that's
able to
great.
so it's good because we're able to kind of like revel in it. You know what I mean? You have
Yeah.
like some
Yeah.
time for like
Yeah.
everyone to pat you on the back, tell you your grade, tell you how much they
Yep.
love you,
Yep.
tell you what they're looking forward to this game. They can't wait for Selection Sunday, and even to
Yep.
hear to just be a part of Selection Sunday. Because the
Right. Right.
build
Right.
up was awesome because we met at the gym and it's media
Yep. I
fans,
say, oh, I say this all the time, and I've coached in a lot of different leagues, Big East and,
yes,
CAA and all that stuff.
yes,
The NEC's championship day, that Tuesday night, and
yes,
it gives you those 3, 4 days of class and walking
yes,
around campus before selection show. That's a great time to have your championship because you just got so much juice. The campus
yes.
is all hyped up. They're planning for the selection show Sunday party. Like you said, I'm sure you guys walk into class and people are standing up, clapping for you and all that. That's one of the things the NEC has done a really good job
Yes.
of our game at that exact time.
Absolutely. And you're like one of the only games on that night. So
Yeah,
everyone's tuned in and everybody you're getting calls. Like I got calls from like high
yeah,
school teammates, high school friends, your
right,
college
right.
friends. It was a tremendous experience.
Yep,
And then even
yep.
going into selection Sunday, like it's great because you're watching the games, you're still a fan, so you're still watching the games, but to know
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
in already
Right,
while you're
right.
watching teams
Best feeling.
compete and you see teams that are on the bubble and some
Yep,
guys that have,
yep.
like couple friends of mine, a couple former high school teammates, like, they would lose, and like you watch ESPN, and like they're all out of the bubble, it's over. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
So and
yeah,
so,
yeah.
but to know like your spot is solidified, oh, it was tremendous.
Great feeling. Great feeling. So now you go. You go. Where do you guys go? Kentucky,
We played in Lexington, Kentucky at Rupp Arena.
Ohio State, in Kentucky. How was
Yes.
that?
It was great. It was a good experience. It was a very good Ohio State team, which is
Yeah,
Greg Oden, Mike Conley.
yeah.
They had guys, they had pros. So
Right.
it was a really great experience. I thought we came out a little bit flat, but I mean, just the build up to go to Ohio State, and
Yeah,
it was tough for us because, all right, I'll say this, like, they did us a favor by, we've got like new jerseys and new sneakers and everything, right? And and they arrived like the day before the game,
yeah,
and the entire season I felt like we were kind of wearing and embodied what we did. So we wore
yeah,
our sneakers. So like
yeah.
now we've got this, and not that I'm
New
saying
stuff.
that it was, but it just, it's a little bit of bad juju, I guess you could say.
It
You know what I
wasn't. It
mean?
wasn't Central Connecticut.
Exactly,
Yeah, it
exactly. Like,
wasn't Central Connecticut.
we became a little bit too pretty,
We blue
and
collar. We're blue collar.
exactly, with tough, with gritty, with like with guys who are just gonna come to work, hard hat, lunch pail, and get it done. And I
Right.
think that kind of played a little bit into it, but
Yeah.
it was a tremendous experience. Like playing in there, the arena was packed, and like
Yep.
you're playing one of the second, third games, so like you're watching your arena become like
Right.
something more
Yep.
than it is, and just the amount of media and the entire, even just the practices leading up to the
Yes.
games
Yeah.
were exciting. So I think it was an
Right.
experience within itself.
Right. 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 No, that's great, man. It's great talking to you guys because all you guys have a different outlook on it, man. And you're all champions and you all take it a different way. But no, it's just great to hear you guys to hear you talk about it and to experience it a little bit through your eyes. So now, you do this is your senior year. You get all
Yeah.
team all NEC. You're NCAA tournament. You're a champion. Walking around campus. You graduate. And now, what's next?
So I was fortunate. So like after I finished, I might have been, I would say, 2 weeks after the season had concluded, I had, some agents contact me, and with opportunities to go play. And I still wanted to pursue a career in basketball. So I signed early. I probably signed before graduation. I committed to go, I signed the contract to go play in Luxembourg.
Yep.
And this was, it's a great experience for me, because like now you're the first, you call yourself a professional, because we
Yeah.
played high
Yep.
school ball, college basketball. Like this is the next step, right? The next evolution in
Right.
your career. And I was fortunate, so I got to play in Luxembourg in my first year in their first league, which was like very competitive, but it was also a trying time because it's my first time outside of the country, and my first time outside of the country without parents,
Yeah.
friends,
Yeah.
and the internet now is not what this
Right.
wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
This
This
wasn't
wasn't
about
available.
yes,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
or just ability to like have TV on your phone and your computer and just to resemble home.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
it was a trying year because I was still Jersey City kid, a Northeastern kid. The kid from the Northeast. I just kind of like knew where I was all the time.
Right.
So, but it was valuable experience. Like I really enjoyed like my first year, although it was very difficult, just being the only American on the team and
Hmm.
having to like consistently play well, and just to give a lot of guys at the NEC level, just just some psychology is when you go over your first year, when the team wins, it's a great team win.
Yep.
When the team loses, you
It's
didn't play well
your
enough.
fault. Right.
You you did something wrong.
Right.
So
Yep.
I
Yep.
didn't really understand that right away. So that took some, it was some growing pains my first year, but moving along, second, third, fourth year, I played 5 years. So I really understood it, and I was able to get myself in better positions with better teams. But it was a great opportunity to, right out of the gate, I was done playing. I was able to like, get a deal and go play
Right.
professionally.
That's good. Yeah. That's hard. That doesn't happen a lot.
Yes,
Doesn't happen a
absolutely.
lot. So to NCAA tournament and do all of that stuff, and then you sign a couple weeks later. That's pretty
Yeah,
good. That's really good.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. And so 5 years, what other countries did you play in?
So I was in Spain the next four. So I was in Germany first year, then Spain the next four. So I was in my first year I was in Cornellà. Believe it or not, you know who was also playing in second division Spain that year?
Oh,
Serge Ibaka. I
wow.
remember. So
How
listen to
about
this.
that?
I remember going into we played and I was like, who is that? He blocked everything. I felt like like you
Wow.
couldn't. He wasn't going for pump fakes. You couldn't get anything in or around him.
Right, right.
He
Yeah.
blocked everything. I remember saying somebody was like, he might put his name in the draft, and I was like, if he played NCAA college basketball, he's playing at the highest of the highest. Like that's a Carolina guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm going to tell you this story then. So this is it's crazy how this small world basketball is. So I'm at UConn.
Yeah.
And Karan Butler comes up in the summertime, he's working out or whatever. And Karan says, Coach, when I'm telling you, I just worked NBA without basketball without borders.
Yeah.
And this kid, Serge Ibaka, is big time. You got to
Yeah.
jump on him. So Karan gets me all the info. I'm trying to track him
Yeah.
down and reach out to him or whatever. And how about that you ended up playing, you were playing against him?
Yeah, it was insane. And I remember they're like they have this big guy who's like good tough around the rim and he's 6'10",
Yeah.
long arms and I remember seeing him like, okay, he's big, whatever. But
Yep.
his ability to cover ground and and it almost felt like like he told the guards, just let them come in.
Right,
He's gonna
right.
wipe everything. I mean, his head was at the rim. Like he was a heck of a player. So
Yeah. No, I'm just not to interrupt. I saw him in Vegas. I was at the Vegas Summer League. I saw him in
okay.
Vegas. I was going to get some food one night.
Yeah.
Like literally, he's sitting there. We sit right beside each other. We started talking. So I talked about the basketball without borders thing,
Yeah.
and it's crazy that you were playing against this guy.
So, and well, I'll go back to it, but here's another nugget, I guess, with just the degrees of separation. So I was inside the bubble when the NBA bubble took
Yeah.
place. And you actually helped me without knowing it. So I'm working with the Thunder at the time.
Yep.
And Sam Presti's the GM, he's like,
Yep.
in Central Connecticut. I was like, yeah, he said, Pat Sellers? I was like, yeah, Pat Sellers is my guy. He was like, Pat's my guy too. So we actually built like a pretty good relationship based off
Right.
of you. He's like, no, I know Pat, man. Tell him I said hello. Tell him I said, like, it was out of
Wow.
nowhere. So it just happens to be, you knew Sam and he knew you went to
Yeah. Right.
Central. You
Right.
came from
Right.
Central
Right.
and like we just kind of hit it off there. We actually still stay in
Such a
contact.
small world,
It
man.
is. It is.
Small world. Yep. I just went to OKC's training camp in
Okay.
early October because Ben Wood, the guy on our associate head coach on our staff,
Yeah.
was a manager at UConn, and the head
Okay.
coach at OKC, Mark Daigneault, was a manager at UConn, and they're
Okay.
best friends.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah.
yeah,
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 so
yeah.
I met all of them at the time. Billy Donovan was still the coach, but Degnos was
Right.
assistant at the
Yep.
time under Billy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I'm
Oh,
going
it's
back.
crazy.
So year two, I ended up like kind of coming into my own. I actually really enjoyed Spain. Like it was like it actually like helped me become a professional.
Right.
There's an older guy. He played for a while. I don't know if you remember his name, Marvin Alexander. He
Yeah.
played in I believe he played for like Memphis back in the day. But he was like the vet on the team. So like he kind of took me under his wing, like and honestly taught me how to be a professional. Like
Right.
it wasn't
Right.
about playing video games and getting rest, getting the
Yep.
massages, taking
Yep.
and actually embracing Europe. Because I think what happens with a lot of Americans that go overseas, and especially you go there and you're still trying to communicate and live in America, but play
Right.
Europe. So, and he was the first person that kind of him and his wife, they actually did a really good job, invited me over for dinner and kind of
Right. Wow. Okay.
forced me to learn a little Spanish and try to
Yep.
assimilate
Yep.
better and
Yep.
build relationships with teammates and go and do things inside the city. So my second year was actually my big, I wouldn't say it was my best year professionally, but it was my
Right.
best year just growing as becoming a professional and trying to learn what it meant to be a pro basketball player. Because
Right.
for a lot of us, I think what happens is we're like, wait, this is just college without classes, right? Like you
Right.
you just
Yeah.
play and you go home. You don't do
Just go
anything
home.
else.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
But and then you realize, you have to eat well, you have to get
Yeah.
massages, you have
Yeah.
to get
Take care of yourself.
treatment, you got to take care of yourself. And he gave me this line. He's like, listen, man, your body's your bank account. And if you're
Right.
not gonna take care of it, trust me, it's gonna reflect in your bank account. And because
Right.
he was like, because I would like leave practice and I'd go home and I'd play video games at times. They said you
Yeah. Yeah.
gotta take care of yourself. This is a profession. So he
Right.
really gave me a lot of game. So then move fast forward to my third year, I ended up playing in the north of Spain, a team called Celis Basket. They were actually right next to a little country called Andorra. So
Yeah.
I actually stayed there for 2 seasons. It was a great experience. I love my teammates. Me and this other American, John Smith, were the two Americans. I remember kid Jeremy Hunt that played at Memphis as well,
Yeah.
shooter.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
So he was on the team as well. So it was like
Yep.
we really all hit it off. And that was probably like my best professional season overseas.
Yep.
Because we were far enough from Barcelona where you couldn't like really do anything, so you had to like kind of stay in your city.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like the city was like full of retirees, so you kind of like could only really focus on like sports and hanging out
Yeah.
with each other. So we would
Yep.
just like really like we'd get shots up after practice, we get shots up before practice, we'd all hang out together, work out together, and our team
Yep.
like was really successful. I mean, so we finished on second in the league that year that they brought everyone back. So
Right.
that really happens over there where
Yeah.
like the entire team comes back for a second
Right.
year.
That rarely
So
happens in Europe. Yeah.
yeah, so I
Yep.
averaged a double. It was a really good season for me professionally and probably like, monetarily my best season yet. And so I
Yep.
came back, so I was there for 2 years and actually like that's the first time that I actually like gave some effort into like learning Spanish and picking up Spanish and like learning the
Yep.
lingo. And so I,
Yep.
and that year I actually picked up more than enough Spanish, like, I have conversations and I actually speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that was my third and fourth year. Then my final year, I ended up in Menorca. It's like so you fly into Barcelona,
Oh, gorgeous.
beautiful.
Gorgeous.
I
Yeah.
I told my lady the other day we have to go back to Spain because we play there's a place in Menorca called Sambo, and that's
Yep.
where we lived. So you're like driving up this mountain, and somehow as you're driving up the mountain, you see the sea. It's like you're
Right.
so high up you can see the sea down, and then you drive
Right.
down into it, and it was beautiful.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah.
Beautiful. I couldn't believe it. And we were staying there as like a team. I was like, this is where we live. It was incredible.
It, unbelievable. Yeah. Yeah.
So
You were lucky, man.
yeah.
Yep.
But I think by that time I was like, okay, like, I'm kind of like I want to get into the next part of my life, next part of my career as far as basketball. So like, I would say like early on when I was signing the contract, I had in my mind it's probably like my last season playing professionally. But
Yep.
I really enjoyed my time there, and like the play in Europe, great experience. It was
Oh,
tremendous, and
definitely.
and I did a lot of growing up out there
Yep.
as well.
So now you're finished. You're retired from
Yeah.
basketball. You're not playing anymore. And then what do we got next?
So it's tradition. This is what I feel like most guys do. I went back to Jersey City, and I
Yep.
connected with Coach Hurley. And Coach Hurley says, just like Coach Hurley's like, hey, you want to coach the varsity team in the summer? I was like, yeah, of course. Like
Right.
and then he gives me a team of like players. I'm talking this is Jerome Frank,
Ooh, I
Kyle.
recruited Jerome Frank.
Yes,
Yeah.
so this is
Good
like
player.
Jerome Frank's senior year, Kyle Anderson senior year. They had
Yep.
the kid Taryn Smith that ended up at UConn for a couple years.
Yes.
Chetty
Yep.
Mosley that went to
Went to Georgetown.
no, Jagan went to Georgia. His little brother
Jagan
was
went
on
to
the team.
Georgetown.
Chetty, I believe, went to like Northeastern or somewhere
He
like
did. He
that.
did. You're right.
Um,
Yep.
so this is like, guys. I
Big
mean,
time team.
he's like, he just gave me the keys and said, go. He's like,
Yep.
run what you want, just come with an offense. But like, defensively, I'm the St. Anthony guy. He's like, we're gonna press, we're man to man, and he's
Yeah.
coaches old school.
Yeah.
We're in their shorts, and that's it. So,
Right.
but he gave me a great opportunity, and so my goal was, to at that point was to teach and play and teach at the school and then play coach under Coach Hurley as an assistant and maybe be the head
Yeah.
of the JV team.
Right.
Fast forward, the summer's coming to a close, and like now guys from my era of like high school players are all becoming college basketball coaches. So Bashir Mason, who's a Jersey City guy, but he actually played for Danny Hurley at St. Benedict. So we played the same AAU team, so we knew each other really well. And Dwayne Lee, so Bashir is actually the head coach of St. Peter's now, and Dwayne Lee at the time was an assistant for him at Wagner College, but Dwayne was on my high school team at St. Anthony. So we were, small circle Jersey City guys who hoopers.
Right. Yep.
So Dwayne Lee calls me and is like, "Hey, I'm gonna get an opportunity to go to FDU to coach under Greg Horrendo, who I believe you worked with at FDU."
Yep.
So Dwayne tells me he's going to go to FDU, and him and Bosch both call me and say, "Hey, what do you think?" And I'm trying to tell them I just committed to Coach Hurley, to coach
the coach
in the school, So but in true perfect Coach Hurley fashion, I go to him and I say, "Listen, it's an opportunity, coach." He says, "Oh, what are you talking to me for? Go take the job."
Right,
literally. He didn't and mind you, probably I want to say 48 hours before I had just committed, I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna help with the guys, I'm gonna work out the play. And so I get the opportunity to go with Bashir, and I learned a lot because he's there. Marquise Webb, who's also an AAU teammate of mine, Jersey guy, what played at Rutgers, and then Mike Babel, who played at UMass, and he was an assistant there. So it was like exactly, Mike and Johnny, So still my guys. I still communicate with Mike every so often. So I get the opportunity to go to Wagner, and I'm at Wagner for a year, and right away, there's conflict of interest, right? Like I'm in NEC, I'm a Central guy, I'm at Wagner. So the first person I call the moment I get the job is Coach D. Just because I didn't want to hear him. I'm talking about this is before we even signed. Just like when I gave him the verbal that I called Coach right away and just told, "Hey, listen, got an opportunity." Just like Coach, happy for you. Proud of you. Want to keep working hard and get to, you got to make sure you can recruit guys and develop guys. That's what the job is about. So I go to Wagner. We have a good season, really good players. Latif Rivers is there. Kenny Ortiz, Mario Moody. They was a good team. They finished second in the conference that year. Very good team, competitive team. So that was year one of my step into Division I college basketball. So I saw you on the road a few times, and it was like it's a homecoming. You get to see guys learn the business and learn how to grow. Make connections, relationships, and so from there. Coach D, the season ends, and I want to say it's probably like 3 days after the season ends, and I'm at the office, and my phone rings, my cell phone rings. I'm like, "It's Coach," and I'm just thinking, he's just calling to see how the season went or whatever. And the coach is like, "Hey, how's things going?" I'm like, "Things are well." He's like, "We should get together. When can you come up?" And I'm like, "Okay, I can be up with it." He's like, "Oh, what?" Might have been like, let's just call it it might have been like a Thursday afternoon. He's like, "Can you meet me here Monday morning?" I was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "What time?" He's like, 9 a.m. I'm like, 9 a.m. I've got to come. That means I've got to stay the night to be there at 9 a.m. Or drive up at like 5:30 a.m. So I come up there, I meet with Coach, and he's like, "Hey, listen, I've got an opportunity. One of the guys are leaving, and if you want it, we'd love to have you home. We'd love to bring you to be a part of the program. And at this time, I think Central's going to be really good because they have Calvin Alice, they have Brandon Peel, they have I forgot what's the point guard's name, Malcolm McMillan. They have Fonte. They are good. They even have he's young, but they have Matt Mobley. At the time, who ended up transferring to Bonaventure, and so I come up and I watch the guys work out. I'm like, this. As a guy who played at Central, I'm looking at them and saying, this is an NCAA tournament team. This is like a very, very good team. Like now they're very heavily reliant on upperclassmen, but this is a team that can, play. Fast forward, I take the job, and it's, Coach treats me tremendous. I'll say this, as far as and had given me an opportunity, to learn and coach and grow. Coach gave me the most. I would. He would probably never admit it, but I would argue and say he gave me probably a lot more freedom and opportunity to coach and teach than he probably expected to give. So he gave me a lot of wiggle room to grow as a person and as a coach and in the business. And I really enjoyed my time there. And
Right.
unfortunately, we got derailed. Malcolm McMillan had a back issue.
Mm.
Calvin Allen had a personal issue, and they
Hmm.
were at the time probably the most experienced backcourt in the country because you're talking about two guys who came in as freshmen and started together from freshman year all the way to senior year. And in
Wow.
that
Yeah.
conference, a
Yeah.
good
No
backcourt
doubt.
with
Yeah.
good experience is
Right.
probably the nucleus to an NCAA championship team.
No doubt. No doubt. Yeah.
So we were a little bit derailed there, which was very tough. But that was like my introduction from going from Wagner to Central, and like I said, the coach couldn't have been any more gracious. Like he gave me
Right.
every opportunity to be a coach and to like grow and to and really be in the business.
Right, right, right. No, that's good. And I remember like seeing you on the road and like we were at Peach Jam together
Yes, absolutely,
in the hospitality room, getting some food,
absolutely,
talking. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
some good times, man. Some real good times. So now after your college experience coaching, what was next? I think I know, but I'm just trying to make sure I get it right.
So I actually I got headhunted. I got an opportunity to work with the NBA. So the NBA now began to start the NBA Academy. So
Right.
initially, what it was you just became essentially like a scout play evaluator, but you would go to China, Australia, Latin America, India, and Africa. Those were the five locations. But at the
Yeah.
time, it was like you're based out of New York, but you'd have to fly or travel to those places maybe 2 to 3 times a month, going to
Mhm.
one location to the next to the next. So
Yeah, yeah.
that was how it initially started. And I actually spoke to coach about it because at the time I'm still at Central, but some changes, and I wanted to be at Central with my alma mater. So I thought this was like where my coaching career would take off, but this just really good opportunity. And
Yeah.
financially, it made sense for career wise. I was still like
Yep.
young enough for it to make sense, so I could bounce around a little bit.
Yep.
So that's how it initially started. But the NBA actually ended up opening up academies in all of those countries that I mentioned.
It did.
And
Yep. I think
and
you called me. You called me about
yes,
China.
I
Yeah, we
actually
talked about
yes,
China.
because you had been in China, and
Yep.
a few people told me make sure you reach out to Pat. So I called you just to ask about culture
Yep.
and how could you assimilate. And it's at
Yep.
this point I had never thought in my life I'd be going to like China, maybe Asia for like a
Right.
trip,
Right.
a
Right.
vacation, but not to, and to stay for a period of time. And China's not
Right.
somewhere where it's like you can go to Europe and navigate. You can go to like a lot of other countries in
South
Latin
America.
America,
Yeah.
yeah. But to go to
China.
China, it's a
A
different
different
beast.
story. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but truthfully speaking, the NBA provided us with a lot of support, a lot of
Yep.
help, a lot of
Yep.
knowledge. The interpreters were fantastic. So I ended up
Yeah.
once the academies opened up in China. So we started out in Shanghai, but the academy now was in Hangzhou, China, which was
Right.
probably about a
Two great
40
cities.
a beautiful city.
Two great cities. Yeah.
I
Yep.
tell people, we don't know a lot about what's going on in China, but China is incredible. There's parts of it
Incredible.
where you're like, whoa,
Incredible. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Shanghai, Hong Kong, Hangzhou, Shenzhen, those places will blow you away.
Blow you away. I love Hangzhou and Shanghai and then
Yes,
Shenzhen.
yes,
Obviously Hong Kong.
yes.
Really good places. Yeah.
And just not to get off topic too far, but what happens too is once you're there, the rest of the world becomes so much closer.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
the Maldives and all these places that you only hear about in like songs or in movies, and these places are now Thailand. They're all within reach, so you can kind of like go see
Yes.
a different part of the world and just expand your horizons.
Right.
Um,
Right. Right.
so I started out as a player development coach and a play evaluator in for the NBA Academy in Hangzhou. I
Yep.
was fortunate because, and it's probably a story of my career. I have a lot of opportunities that just came out of out of the blue. So
Mm.
at the time, Rich Delatry was the technical director of the academy. Rich Delatry had coached with the Nets under Lawrence Frank when Jason Kidd was there, and
Yeah.
so he had a lot of experience. Like actually, great guy from New Jersey as well. So it was really good. We had a lot to talk about. And he kind of like
Hmm.
helped me acclimate, but at the same
Yeah.
time, help teach me how to evaluate differently because when you're evaluating a guy from high school to college, versus evaluating a guy that could potentially be a pro. It's like it's a
Yeah.
very different level of evaluation.
Right.
Um,
Right.
but believe it or not, Rich the Lottery, after like a year, decided, he wanted to make it. He had an opportunity somewhere else, and so I became the de facto technical director.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm really just like a basketball coach who loves player development, who loves to scout. But like, now you're in charge of like what offense you're gonna run and how the players will be developed and how you're
Right.
gonna scout guys, and you're in charge of more people. Like, now I've got a team of guys under me, which was challenging but a great opportunity. Like a
Yeah.
great
Yeah.
opportunity. And I
Yep.
give a lot of those guys credit, like Greg Colucci and Brooks Meek and Chris Ebersol. Like those guys really gave me an opportunity
Right.
to, coach and develop, and especially, as a young man in China trying to like navigate that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
And
truthfully,
Greg, let's let everybody know, Greg Colucci, a former Central
assistant,
Connecticut assistant
absolutely,
coach.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So it was really a good opportunity for me. So I was actually there with a 5-year plan. So I got there and I was like, okay, let's just say 18. By 23, my goal was I'd want to be an NBA assistant, or I'd want to work my way back to the college ranks, but now with a lot more experience to
Yep.
possibly try to get into like an associate head coach goal, or
Yeah. Yeah.
but pandemic happened. So
Yep.
I'm there for a few years. I'm enjoying my time. I'm able to see the world. I'm back and forth. And this time by now I'm based out of LA, because the flight from New York to Shanghai versus LA to Shanghai, you cut off about, let's just say you cut off a few hours.
Yeah. Yeah. 5 hours maybe. Yeah.
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 So I'm fortunate enough that but so it ended up working out for itself. But then the pandemic occurs. So
Yeah.
when the pandemic happens, the NBA bubble happens.
Right.
And when the NBA bubble happens, I have the opportunity, they tell me, hey, do you want to just come into the bubble and, just whether it's like work out, like, some of the guys that are not playing, or just like help out with like, NBA staff or anything. I'm like, of course, it's a great
Yeah.
opportunity just
Yeah.
to be
Definitely.
around guys.
Yeah.
And that I got very fortunate because, like, the team that I linked up with was OKC Thunder.
Yep.
And that's where I meet Sam Presti. And like,
Yep.
we didn't really know each other, but like, you just, because at this point, you're not really, from my position at least, you're not really like working with the teams and the players as much as you're working with, like, let's just say GMs or player personnel
Right. Yeah.
and things of
Yep.
that nature. So Presti's like, hey, I heard you at the Central. He brings you up, and we haven't. So now we got somebody to talk about. You gotta like
Yep.
open the door.
Yep.
And he's like, hey, listen, if there's ever anything I could do, if there's any way I could help you, just let me know. This is like, after some time, I was like, of course. So, he's like, we're always looking for guys who can evaluate talent, or guys who know where the next guys are coming from, or guys who, and so that kind of spurred, some things in my mind that, hey, listen,
Yep.
maybe I might, rather than, going into coaching, I might have an opportunity as like a scout or an evaluator.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
so I started talking to several people, and they're like, listen, it's really just the connections you need, and if you have the connections, then you could kind of like, just work your way up with like, when sending guys reports, and,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people mentioned to me, like, a lot of guys don't have access to like maybe the same information we might have, like a guy like, let's just say a really good junior in high school that's probably going to be a pro. Although he might be on the radar, he's probably not on NBA guys' radar. He's mostly on like college coaches' radar.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
now those, whether it's a GM or like agents, they want that information, because those are guys that can be coming down the pipe that they can
Yeah.
like, maybe have them in with, or, so. And that in turn, like, really spurred me to like, start my own company and like, try to start a scouting service. And that's
Yep.
kind of like what I started doing to kind of like springboard me moving forward.
Yep. Yep. So that's where we are now. We're
Yeah. Yeah. So
your own company
that's totally where
with
I
the
am
NBA.
now. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, but now it's like not like, I work for them, but now it's a partnership, no longer like an employee. So I could kind of like, curate your own schedule and like move along how you want to, and like work with.
Yeah.
But I still try to, I still want to like take parts in like, whether it's like NBA showcases, G League showcases, NBA
Yep.
camps, or Basketball Without Borders camps, or Top
Yep.
100
Yep.
camps, like, Nike Hoops, something like I'm still part of those things, which is like always great because you get to not only meet so many people, but you get to see the talent. And now the
Yeah.
game is
Yeah.
so global, you get to
Right.
see the talent all over the world. Like
Right.
I want to go to. I think I'm going to be heading to the academy in Mexico City, and
Mm.
like sooner or later, and then also the academy in Australia. And I mean, those guys have. I mean,
Right.
they're players there, so it's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, Obie, I mean, what a great career. You coming from Jersey City, St. Anthony's, and then Central Connecticut, and then the European part of it, and China, Asia part of it, and now the NBA, and doing your own thing with your scouting service. I mean, it's tremendous, man, tremendous. And it started at Central Connecticut in Arden, New
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, I mean, I grew up there. I was raised there. And honestly, from a player to be an assistant coach, there's just the opportunity that Central gave me to, like, educate and grow as
Right.
a young man. Tremendous, tremendous, huge
Great,
part of my life.
great. Hey, so we always end the show. I tell the story all the time. I'm gonna tell you this. It's a quick story. Um, with the last segment is questions to ponder. It's
Okay.
5 questions to ponder. And I'm gonna tell you, questions to ponder comes from Coach D. So
Okay.
this is the story with questions to ponder. Um, the year Causley's senior year, we're gonna be really good. We know we're gonna be really good. We get off to a good
Yeah.
start. We beat Providence that year, all that stuff. And we play our first conference game. We play St. Francis Brooklyn here.
Okay.
They come in and knock down 14 threes and they beat us. So we're in the office, myself, Chris Casey, Latina, Kevin Papix. We're like
Oh,
prepared, setting up, ready to watch film. We're gonna be here all night. We know it.
yes, absolutely.
So Coach D, we're waiting for a while. Coach D's not coming down. So Kev, go see if Coach D's around. So Kev runs upstairs to see if he's around. He's like, his door's closed, the lights are off. What? Go check to see if his car's here. Goes outside, gone. So we're even more nervous now. So we sit down, we break down the film. We're here at like 3 in the morning, whatever.
Yeah.
Case is like, fellas, go home, get some sleep, be refreshed, and just get in early tomorrow because we know we're gonna be into it tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we get in, and every coach has a letter on a typed letter on their desk, questions to ponder. And Coach D came in and had questions to ponder. Why was Ricardo Scott allowed to come in the gym without a tie on? Why weren't the uniforms laid out this way? Why didn't this happen? He was questioning everything. So from that day forward, we go 22 straight games. We go 19-1 in the league. We win the conference tournament.
Longest winning streak in the nation. It had
Longest
to be.
longest winning streak in the nation, and it all was spurred on by questions to ponder. So I have my 5 questions to ponder for you. Real simple. Who's your favorite NBA player?
Oof. Unpopular opinion, or maybe very popular opinion. I'm not sure. Kobe Bryant.
All right, you're a Kobe guy.
Yeah.
I'm a Magic guy, so he's a Laker.
Yeah,
I'm a Laker guy.
absolutely.
So Magic's my all-time favorite. All right, I always say GOAT talk. LeBron or Jordan?
It's Mike, but I don't think the gap is as big as everyone else thinks it is.
See, I'm a big LeBron guy. Obviously, I think Magic's the GOAT. That's a whole other
Okay.
thing.
Oh yeah.
But I'm a big LeBron guy too. So, all right. And hey, do you still play over 40 leagues, anything like that?
You can catch me getting some mid-range jump shots and working out. But all right, let me just share a quick story with you. I watched a friend of my high school teammate of mine get hurt and tear his ACL in an over 40 league, and that terrified me because you know what?
That's the worst.
When you're playing, you got like the guys who can help you recover, and like
right.
you don't have that when you're at our age. You've got to recover on your own and with your family. That might stop your day to day.
Oh, that'll stop you in a quick heartbeat.
So I still work out, but the hoop, my lady wanted me to join the men's league, and I told her I think I'm like scared. It's unfortunate. I think I'm scared to get her.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man.
Or I might have somebody playing very hard, and now I'm over competing, and I hurt myself trying to be who I used to be.
Right. Nah, I get it, man. I totally get it. Hey, so now obviously you answered this already. I was going to say, are you able to get to a lot of NBA games now? But
Yeah.
the scouting.
Yes, I do, but I'm actually going to watch the Bucks and the Magic in 2 weeks.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
I figured
so
you
they'll be
probably
down
got
there.
some other
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
and then yeah.
My last question, and I'll let you go, man, is what advice would you give upcoming young basketball players that want to get to college, want to play Division I basketball, want to like the career you had is unbelievable. It's like I can't wait for our fans to hear your story because it's just unbelievable. What advice would you give?
I think it's well, two pieces of advice actually would be preparation and then believe the person that you're listening to knows something that you don't.
Right,
So I believe a lot of young guys and a lot of young players have believe they have the answers or believe that they know the answers, and just sometimes you have to sit back and listen because you're a player, you've got your own opinion of yourself,
yep,
but a lot of times your coach might have an opinion and his opinion is not because your coach wants the best out of their player.
right,
So your opinion might be a little bit more realistic, but it's not as favorable as the opinion they might have of themselves. So the young players believe that the person you're listening to knows something that you might not.
right. No. Oh man, this was great, man. This was great. I'm sure like our Blue Devil fans are gonna be excited to see you in this podcast. And I really appreciate you getting on. We're hoping to get you up here for some games. We are
Nah,
working to get to honor your team at some point. So
awesome.
we're gonna try and get something like that to happen. We gotta figure out how we can do it, but we're gonna get to it.
No, I'll definitely be. I'm hoping to be there late December. So I think you guys play St. Elizabeth. I believe it's like late December, might be December 30th. So
Number
I
30,
know I'll
yeah.
be in. Yeah. So I'm hoping to make that game and another conference game. Those like I've got two marked out. I just got to make sure the Elizabeth game is most likely, and I just got to figure out where you guys playing conference so I can pop it. It might not be at Central. It might be at at the opposing team's
All
site,
right.
but I'm definitely gonna pop it twice
That
at
sounds
least.
great, man. Sounds great. Hey, really appreciate you coming on, man. Thanks. Some great stories, man. And
No,
looking
thank
forward to
you for
seeing you.
having me. I'm
Yes,
great. Good
yes,
luck
sir.
this year. I'm pulling for the guys, man. Obviously, I'm always a Blue Devil. Great. Like I wish the best, and I want to see us get back to the tournament. I know, and I
Yes,
know
sir.
it'd be great to start with you.
That's great, man. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, man. Hope you have a great day. Talk
You
soon.
too. All right. Oh.
Bye bye.
All right, fans. Thank you guys for logging in and checking us out. I mean, Obie Nwadike was incredible. Some really good stories. Some stuff I didn't even realize. Um, just wanted to give you an update. November 6th is our opening game versus URI at URI. We'd love to have our fans out there come see us play. And then November 13th, Monday, November 13th, is our home opener versus Framingham State. So looking forward to seeing you guys. Thank you for joining, and we will see you soon in the Blue Room. Thanks.